Now, I made this particular video about how you can sell your documents on StudyPool and actually earn a commission from it. Now, guys, I would like to thank you so much for watching that particular video. Thank you so much. It plays a very important role in my life, and also it encourages me to make a lot more of these videos. Now, in the comment section, one of you asked me if I had tried tutoring on StudyPool, and in which case I replied that I didn't, but I promised that I would try to apply and see what happens. Now, guys, this is that very video. Now, so today I'm going to show you like on what happens on the StudyPool or tutoring platform, and actually how I got in and got approved to be a tutor. Now, before I do this, guys, the like and subscribe button are for free, guys. And please like and subscribe to my channel so that you can get similar videos about this particular topic. Now, to tell you the truth, I'm quite disappointed with StudyPool. If it were according to me, I would like have ended this video right here because there's really nothing good which I'm going to say about this platform. Since this video was requested by you guys, I'm just going to suck it up and do it anyway. In this case, I'll assume that you've already taken or did a few steps, like you already chosen your area of expertise. Now you have to write an essay, right? In my case, I chose the business management part because that is what I am good at. In my case, I was supposed to write about business theories, just one of the business theories, the classic business theories, and how these theories affect our modern day business world. So in this part, I was supposed to format this paper using the APA format. Okay, I did, and I wrote something like I think 2 pages or so, and I did cite a couple of sources, I think six or something like that, and I submitted this particular paper. On the next step, they asked me to write 2 more. Now, in this area, they recommended that I choose in 3 different like disciplines, which I'm quite familiar with, or which I have some sort of knowledge in those areas. But in my case, I just selected the business part only, and which of course I answered 2 of those questions. The first one was about marketing strategies, and the next one was about employee performance. Now, I was supposed to format these particular essays using the Chicago format, and then I wrote them as with their requirements, and I submitted those. Then the next step was to verify my profile. Right. In the verification process, they requested that I submit a photo. In that photo, I'm supposed to be holding my ID with my face visible, and then I was supposed to be holding again a paper which was written like KYC, which stands for Know Your Customer on StudyPool, and then a current date with a current date. So I did that and submitted that particular photo. I had to wait for 2 days before I got a reply. And then after 2 days, I got a reply on my email, and it stated that I was approved to be a tutor on StudyPool, which is kind of insulting, really. Now, what happens here? Now, before actually applying, I thought maybe on StudyPool, like being a tutor on StudyPool, you're supposed to teach students to do something, right? You're supposed to at least have the video conferencing platforms and answer questions and all that stuff. But actually it's just different. Just you'll be simple writing. That's the overall thing. You'll be writing essays in other essay meals or something like that. That is what we'll be doing. You'll be answering questions by writing stuff for students. The same thing that I do on Livingstone Research is the same thing that you are doing on StudyPool as a tutor. So that's basically it. Immediately after you get into the platform, the next thing is you have to log in, right? After logging in, you have to fill up your profile. That's what I did, just to look at least professional, right? I did that. I made it look as more professional as I could. So there was also some messages which I received on how you can easily get some bids on StudyPool and you know get work, right? They recommended that I have to bid something like 30 times a day, which is huge. Which is you have to wait in front of a PC the whole day and trying to bid on questions when they pop up. There are a lot of things in this thing. There are a lot of issues which I encountered, but I will tell you about those later. So now what happens is that a student posts questions, right? And they post those questions. As tutors, you're supposed to bid on those questions. There are many tutors on the platform. It's just insulting to call them tutors. Really, it's more like they're writers, because that's what this thing is all about. Because if you're a tutor, I don't know, you have to be a lot of things. There are a lot of activities like communication and other stuff. That's all about tutoring. But here you'll be like a writer. Now there are a lot of things which I hate. The first thing which I hate is about like the students, right? Sometimes they post like some ridiculous amounts like to do a certain project or to write a certain essay, right? So they will like request you to write a 2-page essay and they'll pay you $1 for it, which is ridiculous, by the way. It's impossible. That amount is way too low. And two, they always like pull out, like when they post a question, they can just delete that question within seconds. While you are trying to figure out how you can apply that thing to that question, the question is already gone. Then you get the full 03 error or something like that. So that's one of the things which annoys me. And three, there's always this question, I don't know, is that like questionnaire or something like that, but it doesn't appear in all of the questions. I think there are specific questions. This for myself, I think I saw it on certain questions, um, which you have to answer and over again. Remember, you're supposed to breathe 30 times, 30 times a day, and it is actually not easy. You just have to stare at your computer the whole day like a big dummy.
You big dummy.
Try to beat on all those questions, and remember, your time is being wasted. So this thing is a great waste of time. And for those guys who didn't like get into this platform, thank God that you didn't. At least you didn't waste your time. But as for me, this whole experience was to make this particular video so that you guys don't have to go through the same thing, right? That's why I'm here for you. What other thing can I just mention about this platform? Just to sum it all, this is just bad, but I think that's the best word for it. If you compare with other platforms like Livingston Research, Livingston Research is actually better if you want to do this essays and all that stuff. At least there you get to pick your questions. Questions are posted and they are saved on a first come basis, right? When questions are posted, you get to pick your question. See, that's it. You are guaranteed that you're going to hear you bidding. There's always a chance that you won't get any work. As I've said earlier, I did bid like every time. I think I've bidden more than close to 50, and I haven't gotten any single job, right? So it kind of sucks if things are like that. And again, like the application process on its own, they need you to write something like 3 essays, right? 3 essays. You don't get to go through that process, that rigorous process, like when you're applying on Livingston Research. It's just simple. The first stage is about English proficiency, right? They test your English skills. The second is a little bit about the subject or the place or the area, which area of expertise they just want to test if you know one or two things in that area. The last thing is the essay. It's just simple. Yeah, you have to write like 3 essays, which is you have to take it takes time to write an essay, right? That's the reality. Regarding like in terms of like the process, the application process, you expect that you're going to find something which is quite, I don't know, good, I don't know, important or different. But that's the whole thing. This place just sucks everywhere. In terms of like selling your documents, I just don't have any words for it. But in case if you want to get in, well, I have some tips for you. And these tips have worked for me. But this is just not on StudyPool. You can also apply these tips on other things as well, other areas and other platforms as well. But first of all, what I always do, right, whenever I'm doing any kind of projects, I always write guidelines. it is important to have short guidelines, guys, right? Very, very, very important. uh, this always helps because you don't have to think about every single thing. As humans we tend to forget, and again you have to at least know how to structure your essay, right? If you're writing an essay, just use the old system. Of course, they don't change. You've got the body, the introduction, you've got the body, and you've got the conclusion, right? The intro just is more like a thesis. You have to introduce the subject which you are going to talk about. Then the body, you've got the definition, you've got the explanation, and you've got the citation. Those things very, very important. And when you are answering certain questions or answering certain statements or something like that, always analyze specific keywords. And this always helps me. Like before I do anything, I always analyze certain keywords within a question so that I'm able to answer that question specifically, like without having to deviate from the main subject. This always helped me a lot. Like you have to identify certain action words, like to compare, to define, to explain. When you're writing, take note of the word count, right? It is very important that you take note of the word count. And you have to also master the formatting styles like the AP, the Harvard, the MLE, and the Chicago. And also, before you write an essay, just the best. These are basic things that you have to know, right? You have to create like a rough draft with just points writing on a piece of paper, which of course I've already mentioned, I think, in the first instance here. Now, when you're writing your first draft, always write first and then cite later. This is very important, especially if you want to conclude or if you want to finish your paper faster. This is the best way to do it. This is how I do it. A lot of people are complaining, always complaining about plagiarism. Like if they submit a paper, then um the paper will be flagged as being plagiarized. In that case, you have to try to avoid direct citations. Normally, when I write my essays, I don't do direct citations. I always paraphrase. In case like you have some statements which were plagiarized, or because sometimes you write without actually knowing it, right? It's a similar like a line, same line was written maybe in a blog or something like that outside. So if you are faced with that situation, the best thing you can do is to try to use first of all you have to use the SEO tools. That's the best plagiarism checker which I've previously used, and it actually works well for me. It has worked for me and it should continue working well for me. Then if you have like a certain part which has been plagiarized, use a site called Spinboard. So I'll leave the link to these in the description below. So what Spinboard actually does is that it actually changes words within the statement without actually losing the meaning of that statement. But you have to take note of Spinboard because some statements actually, they're just overwhelming because they could use some words which are they're just too much. The last tip which I can recommend, which would like to recommend for you, is that try to use as much of a simple English as possible. That is what I like about writing, right? The kind of English which blog writers use when they're writing their stuff there. So try to avoid jargons as possible. Use plain English. Now, guys, I think this is just about it. I just wanted to say out my mind about this StudyPool thing and tutor thing. So since I've laid it before you, just now you know what goes on. um yeah, you can either choose to try tutoring on StudyPool, or you know you can avoid it like a plague. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll be coming with another one. And there's I was trying to put more topics on my channel, like including other things such as avoiding scams and all that stuff. So I'll be thinking about what I want to do so that I can provide value to you guys. So guys, again, thank you for watching this video, and until then, see you on the next one.